I've been gone for 3 months. It's funny because, like, excuses are one of those things that it doesn't matter if it's true or not. People just don't want to hear them. Like, I know I don't. Like, I don't like when someone says they're going to do something, then they don't do it, and then they give you an excuse. To me, it's irrelevant if it's true or not, right? What is relevant is the result, which is you didn't do what you said you were going to do. Now, don't get me wrong. Just like with everything else in life, it's not that black and white, right? Sometimes there is a genuine reason as to why you didn't do something, and you have to give that some thought. Anyways, I've been gone for a while. It sounds like I've been begging for forgiveness here for some reason, but I'm not. I'm just it'll be kind of weird for me not to post for 3 months straight and then just come straight into one of my videos and not even address the elephant in the room. And not like anyone was patiently waiting for me to come back. All my 6 subscribers. It's not about that though. I mean, I didn't start doing this YouTube shit for hits and to become famous. And I know you hear that a lot, but I genuinely in my heart mean that. Don't get me wrong, that'd be cool. It'll be cool if I got some sort of money from this. That'd be great. Recognition, I'm not too wild about. When I was younger, I cared about fame also. I wanted that paired with my delusional fantasy of also becoming rich. Rich and famous, they go together, peanut butter and jelly. Now I'm not so sure I want to be famous. As a matter of fact, scratch that. I am sure I don't want to be famous. I don't want that heat. I don't want to be constantly scrutinized and everything that I'm saying is dissected and usually used against me in a negative way. Like I can't imagine what celebrities go through. And it's funny because I know some people would hear this shit and go like, "Shut the fuck up, Dan. Celebrities. What kind of woes do celebrities have? These guys are internationally known and they're wealthy, and what kind of problems could they possibly have?" And I think like they do. As a matter of fact, I know they do. I can't imagine, just like I said earlier, just being under the magnifying glass at all times from everyone. Not only because it doesn't stop just at the fans and paparazzi and social media and just the media in general. Like it's also your house, right? Your friends, your family members, they start treating you differently. I can only imagine. I've heard stories, terrible stories about how UFC fighters. I've said this a million times. I'm a big combat sports guy, and I remember I think it was Derek Lewis who said that a lot of people in his family were upset because he's not giving them as much money as they think they should be given. Like I guess it's that sense of entitlement. Like, oh, I have a rich son or I have a rich cousin or uncle, and it's like, oh, he's not even reciprocate, he's not even giving me anything back. First of all, there is no such thing as reciprocation if one person's not giving you anything, so maybe that's not the best word to use. But people get weird like that. I also heard about this story about this guy who was also a UFC fighter, and he came from Africa or India. I believe it's Africa, and I think he lost his debut fight. I think he got knocked out, which is probably the worst way to lose your debut fight. And he later on went on in a press conference or in some sort of a podcast and said that some of his family members back in Africa were celebrating his loss because when he made it to the UFC and he was starting to get a little money, he didn't send money back to those particular cousins or something like that. And I remember reading that going like, fuck, like how terrible is that, right? You're celebrating your cousin's loss because he didn't send you money. Money that you didn't like you have no rights over this money. But yeah, fame's got to be a weird thing, man. I don't think I want it. The more I analyze it, the more I think about it, I'm like, I'm good. I just feel like that's just unnecessary stress. But then again, I'm just looking at the downsides. Obviously the upsides I don't even need to describe. You already know the fucking benefits of being famous. That's man, where do I even start, right? So these past 3 months, I've been working a lot, man, and I've been working full time before. For the last 5 years, I was part time, which I fucking loved, by the way, and I would love to find another part time job in the future. In fact, that idea is already brewing in my head. I was having a tough go at first with my job. I'm starting to get better at it. and I'm starting to accept things a little better now. And it is becoming better overall. But just a month or two ago, I was like, I was borderline hating my job. You know, like I didn't like some of the systems they had in place. Basically, without getting too into detail, it's like one of those issues where the job is good. I like my duties, like the physical job, the physical part of it, the everything else. Like I work at a hospital. Um, and I mean, I'm not a doctor or a nurse or anything like that. But I do work in the operating rooms, and it's a pretty sweet job overall. But like I said, the systems. When I say that, it's like some of the managers would they would staff people a certain way, and you're like, that's not the most optimal way to staff someone, or they would favor favoritism. That's a big thing too. They would favor someone more than the others, so they would give them the more easy tolerable floors and then give the people that they don't like the more shittier harder floors, busier floors. So, those little politics that are going on, those little infighting and all that. Like it was a lot of that. At one point I actually had to separate two girls from physically fist fighting each other. They were inside of the same workroom as me, yelling and cursing at each other. I had to get up and stop one from hitting the other. That's how crazy it's been these last few months. But it's better now, man. It's much, much better now. I'm getting a hang of it, and I'm like, okay, I know how to move now. So, anyways, so for the last 3 months, that's what I've been focusing on. I've been working, Monday to Friday, just trying to survive, man. And sorry if these last 7 minutes have been nothing but catch up, but I just no other way I can do this. That's what I have to do in these videos, especially when I haven't been around for 3 months, like which sucks because I'm a big fan of discipline, and I like to be structured. Of course it's life, right? You don't always get that privilege, or you don't always get the chance to be structured, no matter how bad you want it. But I told myself one video every week, and I was already fucking up on that. And now went 3 solid months. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like I gotta get back on the ball. So here I am. I may fall off the horse, but I'll always get back on. I haven't had a lot of times to play different video games. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Shadows for the last 3 months, believe it or not, since my last video all the way up to this video. And this video is going to be about Assassin's Creed 2. I know the first, like I said, 7, 8 minutes of this video is just me recapping my life. Sorry about that. That comes with the video. But as far as Assassin's Creed goes, yeah, I've been hitting it hard. I finished it maybe like 2, 3 weeks ago, and now I'm playing Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is I'm not gonna say it's equally as fun, but it's pretty good. At first, I wasn't digging the simplistic combat and the smaller map. I didn't know. I was kind of hesitant about it. I thought the game was going to be kind of linear, but it's not actually. The game's beautiful. It's beautiful golden era of Baghdad. Browns and amber colors, and everything's covered in sand. It's a gorgeous game. It really is. And the gameplay is not so bad. The simplistic combat kind of works. I hate the fact that they handicap your character by default the same way. Like you play as Basim in Assassin's Creed Mirage, and he is young and like up and coming, so he's not as great as a fighter. So I understand the backstory and as to why he can't take on multiple enemies at a time because he's still pretty much new. But that's what they did with I was gonna say Ayame. That's the girl from Tenchu. Remember Tenchu for PlayStation 1? I downloaded that recently to my little handheld, my Trim UI Smart Pro that I got with all these retro games. So that's why I was thinking of Yame. But her name is Naoe. So Naoe is the same way. She's like, young and not as skilled as a fighter as Yasuke, at least in one-on-one confrontations, or fucking 5, 6, 7, 8-on-1 confrontations like Yasuke can do. But Naoe and Basim, they have that in common, that they're both young and they're not as skilled, so they can't take on several uh, combatants, enemies at a time. At least that's the official backstory for both. I hate that. I wish that, like, if you're good enough, you should be able to kill several enemies, which I have done. I'm not going to say I'm good enough. Sometimes it's luck of the draw, right? Because in Assassin's Creed Mirage, you pretty much can only do two things concerning uh, evasion, right? You can dodge an attack and you can parry an attack. That's it. Sometimes it'll be three, four enemies hitting you all at one time. At one time. And your only chance is to roll out of the way. That's your only way. But you do have a stamina bar. Think like Dark Souls style, right? If you deplete the stamina bar, you can't move and it'll just wail on you until you die. So the problem with that is that if four enemies are swinging at you at the same time, obviously that's not good. You're going to get hit because not all of them are going to use an attack that can be parried. Two of them will use an attack that can be parried. The other two will use an attack that can only be dodged. And you can only do one action at a time. So while you're deflecting one attack from two attackers, or two attacks from two attackers, whatever the case may be, the other ones are hitting you with an undodgeable attack. So you're gonna get hit either way. And they purposely made the game that way. It's like, oh, we don't want you to fight multiple people. I don't know why they went that choice. I don't know why they chose to go that route. Maybe because they wanted to add some realism to it, which in a way I kind of like. It's not all doom and gloom. There is silver lining, right? Um, I do like the fact that because I've played many games where you're fighting multiple people and they all kind of just wait their turn. Like it's some sort of a line. It's like, ah, and I'm thinking in my head, like, why don't they all just bum rush you, right? All of them just straight up beat the shit out of you. It's like eight of them. And there's one you. But somehow they take their time. You see them in the back, they're just strafing left and right or circling, just waiting for their turn. And that does break the immersion. So maybe the people over at Ubisoft are like, that sucks. Let's just have them all attack the player at all one shot and then have the player tell the player, like, hey, man, you just can't run around taking eight people at a time. This isn't, wait, I was going to say this isn't a video game. Ain't that the irony of it? It is a video game. But yeah, so I think they were maybe aiming for realism. I can't tell you the official reason why, but you know what? I'd like that. I do like that, but it is kind of upsetting, because like with Yasuke, for example, you can take on several enemies at a time, unless you have it in nightmare mode, like my psycho ass. In that case, you still can take on several enemies, but you got to be fucking good. There's no other way to do it. You have to be good. As opposed to, I'm pretty sure if I played normal mode with Yasuke, I probably would have steamrolled right through that game. Um, yeah, so this is going to be kind of a little bit of both, a little bit of both of Assassin's Creed Shadows and Assassin's Creed Mirage. Right now, Mirage, I started a few weeks ago. I am enjoying, and I finished Shadows. I still get the urge to go back and finish some things because I didn't explore every single region. I most certainly didn't um synchronized every vantage point or those eagle little towers that you climb or whatnot, and you have to synchronize them in order for you to unlock more of the map. I haven't done all of those. I'm pretty sure if I keep traveling around, I may find a side quest or two. But as far as like the meat of the game, the bulk of the game, that's done. The main storyline is done. The vast majority of side quests, if not all the side quests, are done. Like I said, it was mostly by the time I left that game after like a good 3 months of playing it. Um, like I said, the only things that I had to discover were just certain regions and also the synchronization of those eagle points, I'll call them. I don't know the exact name of them. It's hard for me to think of more reasons to talk about this game because I kind of made a whole entire video about it and I don't want to keep repeating myself. But one thing I didn't touch on a lot was the music. Like the music grew on me heavily these past few months. And because of Assassin's Creed Shadows and the superb music, by the way, I love the music. Um, and I'm not just talking about, let me be a little more specific. Like I love like that there's a theme that plays usually when you're in the map and you're kind of just trying to strategize where you're going to go, what do you got to do, and there's just like it's in the background, it's real faint, but it's a very emotional piano. I can't explain it. I think there's a piano in there. May not be, but I love that tune. And it's one of my favorite tunes. It's so subtle. It's like you won't even hear it because it's not even, it's way lower than the average track that we're playing a game. So it's like very subtle. But if you pay attention, you can hear it in the back. And sometimes you'll hear it during gameplay, but that's rare. So I can't emphasize how great the music is, and because of Assassin's Creed Shadows, I found myself paying more attention to the music in other games. Like I've been shitting on Ubisoft for a while, right? I like Ubisoft. I said that. I think they make fun games. I don't think they make the most deepest games. I think they're pretty surface level. Some say, dare I say, shallow, but there is a ton of shit to do. That's one thing. If you buy an Ubisoft game, you can guarantee that you will be busy for a long fucking time. And not to mention like the live events, at least for Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I know other games had those live events too. And those events, those timed events, like I like to call them radiant quests because that's the first time I heard of them. Like when Skyrim came out, and I remember they were like advertising the game. I think it was Todd Howard himself who said that they're going to introduce something called radiant quests, where like they never really end. It's kind of just like almost generated, computer generated quests. I believe there's a lot of those in Assassin's Creed too. If you want to Assassin's Creed Shadows, if you want to get busy with those, you're more than you more than likely can, because it's an endless game essentially. It turns it into like a mini MMO, but it's also a single player game. Although it does feel like an MMO because you got to be fucking online to play it. Well, at least to start it. That whole de novo shit, I know I get it. Anti piracy, dude, we can go back and forth about that. Um, but Mirage, it is. I do appreciate that they went back and tried to get to the core of what Assassin's Creed Shadows used to be. And on paper that sounded like a good idea, and maybe to them it did also. They were like, "Fuck it, let's do it. Let's go back and let's give the fans what they want." And I think that's a great attitude to have. And they went for it with Mirage, and I don't think it works. I really don't. Personally, like when I first started playing the first three with Altair, I think it was Altair, right? Or was it Ezio? I think it was Altair. So it's weird because when you go back and you play those games, there's a heaviness to those games, right? It's laden with conspiracy theories and also facts and actual historical figures. And I remember the game's feeling heavy in a sense that like wow, like this game is like kind of like Metal Gear. You know how Metal Gear kind of overwhelms you with cutscenes and a lot of actual like facts about wars and all, and then Assassin's Creed the first three did that also, and it just felt heavy. It felt like almost like could this be real? You know what I mean? And you start to like go, whoa, this game is crazy. Like I don't know, there was a heaviness to. That's the only word that I know. I keep repeating that. Sorry, but that's the only word that comes in my head. Like it just feels like this some heavy shit. Then after that, it just they completely abandoned that, and they just became a fun romp through this giant open-ended world, and you're just running around, just taking over shit, destroying stuff. Which personally, after playing so many Assassin's Creeds like that, that's what I expect. So when I played Mirage and they went back to their roots, I was like, nah, it's fun. And it is a good game. It doesn't feel like an Assassin's Creed game anymore, which is ironic because that is what an Assassin's Creed game was in its roots and its nature in the beginning, right? That was the genesis of Assassin's Creed, like a more tight, small world with densely packed missions and populations, and and it, like I said, it still works. It's still a good game, but it's just compared to something like Shadows or Odyssey, which happens to be my favorite. Like I'm just like I don't want that. I want this gigantic world with lots of things to do. I would prefer that more. And Shadows, it's bigger than Mirage, but it's not as big as their previous Assassin's Creed titles. Which I get it, man. I'm a fan of having a smaller map but densely packed, right? Well, not only with missions but also with detail and people and different animations and different character models. Like if you're gonna focus on, think like. If you're gonna focus on something small, you might as well detail the fuck out of it, right? Because you don't have to spend so much time making this gigantic map with different regions and different biomes and stuff. So like I think like if you guys ever played Yakuza, it's always I think it's Kamurocho. I think that's the name of the city. It's always the same fucking city in every game. And I love that. I don't know why I love that. Some people will go like, "I'm sick of this shit. I want to go somewhere else." But I love the fact going back to a familiar city that feels so alive and vibrant. Like it's super. It's densely packed. You. If you walk around alleyways and you look to your right, you look to your left, you see these little stores that you can't even go into, but you read the names and you start laughing because you're like, that looks like something that could be real. And that's kind of the gist I get with Assassin's Creed Mirage. Is densely packed, and you're going through these alleyways, and you're seeing like this pottery that people made, and like trash on the side of like the castle. And I'm like, yeah, totally, people would do that. And that's not me being sarcastic at all. I'm like, that would be a thing, right? People just throwing trash in areas where no one can really see. Sounds like real life shit. Like little details like that make you feel so immersed. And I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of a small, dense, tightly packed map. And Mirage does that pretty well. Um, Shadows, it's where it's at though, because at the end of the day, right? Like my philosophy of video gaming is that it should be fun, right? And you can find fun in all sorts of things, without getting too into detail and sticking primarily to video games. There are people out there who find puzzle games fun, strategy games fun, card games fun, RPGs fun, sports games fun. Like, a lot of that stuff I'm not into, and a lot of it I find boring, but I can see how someone else would like that shit. Fun is fun, and the main principle, the philosophy of a video game and why you should play should always be fun. That should be the number one thing you should be doing in a game. And I think Ubisoft nails that. When it comes to fun games, I think Ubisoft is fucking great at that. And I've been playing a lot of Ubisoft games lately, like at night usually when my girl comes home from work. At least today, because today I'm off. Today's Christmas, by the way. I can't believe I didn't mention that. That's pretty important, right? And notice I said Christmas, not Happy Holidays. We're not going to get into that neither. So, yeah, like when my girl usually comes home from work, we play Breakpoint. Lately, we've been playing Breakpoint also at night. We've been enjoying it. It's been me, her brother, her, and usually my other friend. But lately, she hasn't been on the last few days. But it's usually three or four of us, and we're enjoying the shit out of Breakpoint. We don't give a shit about the missions. We don't read any of the bios or the collectibles that have all this information on specific characters and regions and strategies. We're just like, point to the next area that we can just go in there and shoot. And we all know it. We all make fun of ourselves. We're like little fucking primates, but we're all having fun. It's fun as hell, and that's Ubisoft. And I know people are fucking foaming at the mouth when they hear that. They excel at fun. They're fun. Sometimes their vision can be a little adolescent like. A lot of their skins and missions and stuff that you can buy at the store, and even the dialogue in the game, it does sound kind of not infantile, but it sounds like what a 16-year-old would think is edgy and cool. You know what I mean? So like if you're 16, you're like, I want a horse that has fire in his eyes and can ride like the wind. And then, at 40, you're like, that's cringy. But, at 16, you're like, that's what I want to draw. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Ubisoft still kind of keeps that image. Or like, we're just going to make, you know, borderline cringy shit. And I know that they don't intentionally think in their mind, like, let's make things cringy. Let's have a whole meeting about cringiness. I know they're not thinking like that. I know they're thinking like, what looks cool? What do kids think it's cool? Oh, what a horse with fire in his eyes. And you know what I mean? Like it's one of those things. And you're kind of like, nah, no. But I am 40 years old, so I'm on my way out. So maybe that is cool. I don't know. Dude. I don't know. I'm in the house most of the time. I just work and come home. My life is boring. I don't know what the fuck's going on. But yeah, I always shit on Ubisoft, but I always defend them at the same time. I go, yes, I understand that a lot of people have a problem with bloat and shallowness of their games, and that's true. That's existent. I can tell you that for a fact. Exploring is nowhere near as satisfying as a title like The Witcher or The Elder Scrolls. And I hate to compare games, but like it's true. Like when I'm running around the world of Mirage or Breakpoint or Shadows, all three made by Ubisoft, by the way, and they're big giant games too aside from Mirage. Like you don't get that sense of contentment that you would when you play like an ESO game. Sorry, when you play an Elder Scrolls game and or a Fallout game. Like like I don't know. It just feels like yeah, there's trees there and there's rocks and they may be like a little cottage or something in there, but it's like there's nothing to interact with. It feels kind of empty. And I believe Ubisoft does suffer. Excuse me. I do believe Ubisoft suffers with that a lot, and all across their games, they don't really add that much depth to the world. They added a lot of things to do, sure, and that's where the bloat comes in, right? Some people go, they add too many things to do. That's also a point. I think the more the better personally because you don't have to do any of that shit. But I like the option that it's there. So one day if I'm fucking bored in the house and I already finished Shadows like I did in my case, I can just go, you know what? I'm gonna jump back and just do all the shit I didn't do because there was so much. I like that. I like the fact that you're getting bang for your buck. To me, that's like going to like a pizzeria and asking for a slice, and the guy's like, "Look, man, we're about to close. I got a whole pie in there. I'm gonna just give you the whole pie for the same price of a slice." And you're just like, oh yeah, fuck it. You know, you're not gonna go, no, that's too much pizza, dude. I'm not taking that home. That's way too much. It's gonna be hot. I don't have room for it. Like, no, you're gonna go, I'm gonna take this fucking whole pie for the price of one slice because you guys are gonna go, yeah, absolutely. That's how I feel Ubisoft game is, right? It's like people are just like, oh, there's too much to do, way too much stuff. And I'm just like, dude, it's okay. Like, you don't have to do all of it. Just do the stuff you want and roll out. Like, maybe that's a complaint from people who feel compelled to finish things, people with like OCD or, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm spitballing here, man. I don't know. I just like the fact that you have the option to do a bunch of shit. I'm not on that team of bloat. I don't understand it. I mean, I do to an extent. Let me be very clear. I'm not being clear. Um, I see why you would think it's a problem, or they, sorry, I don't know you. I don't know why I'm accusing you. I see why people would think that it's a problem, but I don't see it as a problem. That's the best way I can put it. I was originally just gonna play the Outer Worlds too. I think that might be on the list next. I think I need a break from Assassin's Creed after Mirage, and I just finished buying. I bought so much shit, dude. So much shit from this Ubisoft store. They keep killing me. You know, just recently they're still having a January sale. You hear me? January 6th is when the sale ends. They're having a winter sale, and I bought so much shit. I bought all this DLC from like Far Cry 5, which was my favorite Far Cry. I bought all this DLC for Wildlands, which is probably my favorite Ubisoft game in general. And I bought all this shit for Breakpoint. Like I was just buying DLC for dirt fucking cheap too. So in my head, I'm like, I should go back and play Valhalla. You know, never got to finish the Ragnarok shit or the Wrath of the Druids. I never got to finish that DLC. I also never got to finish in my favorite Assassin's Creed being Odyssey. I never got to finish the DLC for that, and I bought the complete edition. I might have bought the complete edition at from Steam. I don't know, but I know eventually I'm going to go back and I'm going to play those games. I know that. But in the meantime, I am enjoying Mirage. After this is done, that's what I'm gonna do. Play that for a bit since I'm off today and just relax, man. And overall, yeah. I mean, if I can't tell you what to think, and even if I did, you're not gonna fucking listen to me, some random stranger on the internet. But if my words can resonate at all, I would say don't be so judgmental. Don't be so harsh on games. And be critical, sure. I'm not telling you to just shut up and let people do what they want with you or not have any opinions on things. I'm not saying that at all. There's a difference between like trashing something and criticizing it. You know, the internet seems to get this confused all the time, right? Like criticizing something is going like, hey, I don't like this and I don't like that. I mean, I like you. It's like in a relationship, right? Like there's lots of things that my girlfriend does that drives me crazy and not in a good way. And you know, I go, that doesn't mean that I hate her. That just means that I don't like that she did that. So a lot of people get that confused, especially online. They go, oh no, I hate what you're doing and I hate you. And I'm like, Jesus. Like, you know what I mean? Like they can't separate the act from the person. Now, once again, like I said earlier in this video, life is not that black and white, right? Sometimes people are pieces of shit, and what they do reflects on their own character, which they are pieces of shit, so they're gonna do shitty things. Totally understand that. That's another thing, right? How are you gonna differentiate? I believe I said that word correctly. From a type of person that could be salvaged, and then a piece of shit that can't. But all I'm saying is this. I'll leave you with this, kids. I got to get out of here. I don't got to get out of here, but I got to get out of here. What? Um, don't be so harsh on games, man. Like, I can tell you this. I've been gaming for God since I was single digits. I had to be 6, 7, 8, 9. I believe the first ever game I've ever played was Pitfall for Atari. I think that's how fucking old I am. And I can tell you this. I don't think I've ever played a game that I can say I truly hate. or that is trash. I played games that were lame, and I played games that like after like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I'm like, what is this shit? But I can't say I hate it. There's always something about, maybe it's me, maybe I'm being too optimistic, but there's always something about a game that I can see why someone else would like this. Like sports games bore me to fucking death. I can't picture myself playing like a football game or something like that. But even though I can't picture myself doing it, I can totally see the fun in it. I see the potential and I see why someone else would have fun in it. So I can't, I can't sit there and bash it, but like Ubisoft is one of those titles, and this is the reason I'm saying these parting words, is because people like to shit on Ubisoft to the point where it's like you would think they were a terrible company. I'm like, they're not. They're just, yeah, sure, they don't make the most deepest games, but they make fun games. You know what I mean? Whatever, man. I don't even know what the fuck I'm defending anymore. I'm out of here. Hopefully, I'll do another one of these soon, and it'll probably be on the Outer Worlds too. That looks like that might be the next game. Either that or the Elder Scrolls remake, which I've been wanting to play, but my computer, I don't have a fucking $3,000 GPU, so I guess that's out the picture. But I don't know, man. We'll see. Most likely Outer Worlds. See you guys next time.